Here we go, we've managed to salvage a bit of footage from my first ever gravel race, and I thought this was going to be a relatively chilled start because I thought the spirit of gravel, how wrong was I? It was full gas up this climb. I had done zero warm-up, I was wearing a waterproof jacket, so I was literally like the Michelin Man in a second. It wasn't even a fitted jacket, but it was absolutely full send up this first climb, and I think we done like 480 watts I done for the first 60 seconds of this race. From no warm-up shivering to 480 watts. I was absolutely shell city, I'm not gonna lie. But this race went wrong from start to finish for me. Yes, I had the wrong tyres on. Yes, I'd pumped them up like a bloody road bike because I've got to admit I was expecting a little bit more gravel than we got, but unfortunately the conditions were grim. This is about as gravel as it gets in the UK, but we went round this is the gravel section. Look, it's like a bloody stream. But anyway, went round this section and boys in front were absolutely whacking it, and I was whacking it as well in a second. But I was literally like the Michelin Man. My jacket had just filled up with air, my hood was filled up, everything, and I felt like the least aerodynamic person in the world. I apologise about the footage. I do wipe it, keep it as clean as I can, and we skip some bits. But yeah, as the boys started putting the power down, I was like, I've realised I've made a terrible, terrible decision wearing this waterproof jacket. But at the same time, I was just too much of a wuss to get cold. But this first bit, as I said, was absolutely full send. And then we get in to the mud bath. I tell you what, it was an experience. Being on slick tyres, pumped up, I reckon they were over 30 psi. I pumped them up like the day before to ride home from work on the road, and I was like Bambi on ice. So this first section, you can see some gaps have started to open, and it was mainly because I was wearing an absolute parachute of a jacket. Where's the leader? Just the leader's gone round the corner already, so he was absolutely tanking it. And this bit here was mega. You come down this gravel section, hit a grass field, right, and it was just pot luck if you took the right line and if you were on the right line to get any sort of grip. Look at the lines people take down here. So some people stayed high left, and this course just got completely... Look over to the right in a second, you'll see guys shooting across over there, you'll see guys left, but right now, look at the guy there, absolutely tanking through the grass. I'm doing like 500 watts there and not moving because, yes, lesson learnt, you need to have mud tyres on to race gravel in the UK. But then we get into this next section and I'm still getting absolutely no grip, and I'm thinking, oh boy, this is going to be a long 90 minutes. So it was a 90-minute race. I'm practically back with the front guys again here, but then we were off running. We were full cyclocross. I'll be interested to know what the guy that won the race on the pink bike, what tyres he had on, because he managed to ride this section. There was absolutely zero chance I could ride that climb because I was basically just wheel spinning. It was Tokyo Drift out there, and it didn't get any better. But I think Ewan that's in the Train Sharp kit running just in front of me was on mud tyres. So super impressive that guy at the front that's now leading managed to ride that section. But you can see how much of a difference it makes. And yeah, I got it wrong this time, and I didn't do a practice lap or anything like that. And after this first lap, when I realised I was not aerodynamic in my jacket, I took it off, and then my body went into... I thought I was going to get hypothermia, but you can see along here, I'm spending more time going sideways, left and right. Absolute carnage. I didn't know what to do because I was going on the grass, I was slipping on there. Then I was going on the mud, I was slipping on there. There was just nothing. In hindsight, I should have stopped and let some pressure out my tyres. But you know, when you're in the midst of a race and you can see the front of the race going away and every man and his dog passing you because you're just wheel spinning, you just keep going. And there's something I need to learn during races, just to get my head more in the game and think like a normal person. But we come into this next section here, and I'm gonna have to skip this because it was an absolute mud bath and the camera just gets completely covered. But by the time we get down to the grassy field again, everyone was going past me, and I was putting down power, but I couldn't go anywhere. So yeah, mistakes were made, mistakes were definitely made. And when I do another gravel race, a lot of people are going to say this isn't gravel, but it really wasn't. The organiser just couldn't do anything about this. The rain was just torrentious or torrential, whatever you want to call it, I don't know the word, but it hammered it down, and we've had a super wet February, so he was unlucky, because if this race was like middle of the summer, it'd have been a wicked course, nice and fast, the gravel sections, but this next bit was carnage. Down this muddy hill on slicks, the guy at the commissaire at the start said, be careful down there, on the right is an electric fence and on the left is barbed wire. So you can see I want the grass, and then I remember that's an electric fence. My life means more to me. I don't know how much voltage is going through that fence, but on slick tyres, your boy does not want to be either in the barbed wire or in the electric fence. So I went to the centre, and that was even worse because I was basically ice skating. I just, at the point when I went past the rocket on that hill, I just had to laugh and say this is lovely, because it was one of them moments where it was either laugh or cry right now. But the one thing was, I just knew that I couldn't give up, because I always waffle on, don't give up, always keep battling. So I literally just grizzed it out and got on with it. Proper trooper. Unlike Del Boy, you weak Del Boy. Going back to the van, I wanted to go back to the van so bad. But this bit again, we got a little bit of road gravel section in here, which was a nice bit of respite, because the bike was flying on the gravelly sections, and some people have mentioned go up to the one in Scotland. I think it's the Gralloch UCI race. In all honesty, I just can't do that drive to Scotland again. I'm tempted, yes, but I'm just going to get my backside handed to me against all the pros. But we got that one bit of respite, and then we were back into the mud. Here we go, baby. This bit was just brutal. Look, I think I'm cutting the corner there, I'm not going to lie. Obviously, there was arrows out there, and you'll see in a minute I had an absolute nightmare. But yeah, this first lap, I think I averaged, like, the first hour of this race, I averaged 276 watts, and my normalised power was 304. So they're actually really good numbers for me. The problem was, I was putting down the numbers and going nowhere, and you'll see in a second just people going past me. And look, I'm putting down like 300 plus watts here, which is good numbers for me and the power I've got. And nothing was happening. Look, I'm sliding right, I'm sliding left, I was trying everything to find grip. But the thing is, the grass was so long and wet, you couldn't even power through that. And the front of the race has just totally gone now. And when I did take my waterproof jacket off to try, look at that slip and slide, holy cow. This next bit was a bit of respite though. We're back on gravel, baby. We're back shifting. It was half gravel, half river. Absolute carnage. But yeah, this course would have been mega in the summer for, like, if you wanted to call it, like, I don't know, mega cross. I'm not sure you could call it full gravel, but this bit was deceptively hard because it, like, dragged along, and then you kicked up this really steep climb that the camera is just not going to do it justice. But the carnage of my first lap is not over just yet, because more carnage is to come. If you ever thought what is your worst nightmare of a lap, this is it for me. And to top it off, I make it even worse in a minute. But yeah, this gravel section here was where I was starting to put down some power and actually shift a bit. The problem was, you could see, like, way in the distance, you can see the riders. They'd put so much time into me on the mud. And looking back now in hindsight, in the morning I looked at the weather and I should have just took my mountain bike. It would have been so much faster, but the fact that the mountain bike's brand new, I didn't want to destroy it in this weather. This was proper cross conditions. This is worse than any cross race I've done this year, which is just laughable. But yeah, this climb here put a real sting in the legs. It's like a wall. The camera just does not do it justice. But I'm gonna play the next little bit of this because this is when my race goes even worse and my head just absolutely goes. We get to the top of this climb and then you pull out onto another grass section. It's a little bit faster downhill. It's not as boggy, but it was absolutely Baltic. There was a headwind along this section. So you can see I've caught the rider in front. He goes back past me in a second, but he has got a puncture. So we're back out onto this grassy section, starting to get some speed. And I have had the nightmare of all nightmares. I've done a complete Del Boy and I've gone the wrong way in a race. I got lost in a race. Dad always does this, even when the course is taped out. So I'm used to being at like cross races, mountain bike races, where the course is like fully taped out, but where this is a longer lap, it was more the arrows, so you had to look out for the arrows. Me just being an absolute numpty, I decided, I didn't even see the arrows. Maybe I was looking down, God knows what. But we come hurtling down this next section. You can just see absolute grim conditions. You gotta love it. But yeah, we come down here. So you're flying down this hill, and at the bottom of this hill, you'll see some arrows pointing to the right. I don't know if it was all the water, mud getting in my eyes. Sorry about the camera here. Yeah, maybe I just had a bit of mud in my eye or something. I cannot remember, but I should have turned right at that road here and gone up the hill. I decided to go straight on. So as if my lap can get any worse. And then I've come down to this section. I'm like, well, where's the course gone? I've lost the course. You absolute clown, George. I'm riding round. I look over my shoulder. I see everyone going past me, going up the hill. I'm like, you absolute numpty, George. But anyway, I got on with it, cracked back on, and I was just trying to chase people down. This was the lad with a puncture that had already just gone past me. And the worst bit was, in this race, my average heart rate for this race was like 148 or 150 or something. That's like 25, 30 beats lower. The problem was, when I took my jacket off, I don't know what it was. I've never experienced this before, but as if my body just went into like shutdown mode. It wouldn't work any longer. I was like trying as hard as I could. Look at this climb. I'm like putting out 400 plus watts up here. Yeah, I was trying as hard as I could, but there was nothing there. Absolutely nothing there. And I don't know if my body just got too cold or what, but it was absolute carnage. And from this point on, I just went into pure survival mode. You can see here, I mean, like, the course was completely wrecked at this point, and I was just having a nightmare. I jumped on this mid-Devon CC rider's wheel, and we were having a chat up here, and to be honest, it was because I couldn't get my heart rate up. I was so cold, and he was like, are you that YouTuber? I was like, yeah, unfortunately it's me, that chopper. But watch this section here. He drops me like a stone. I tried to go down to this bottom section, get caught in the mud. I'm doing 600 watts almost, and mid-Devon CC rider, sorry I've forgotten your name, has just pulled away from me, and I've had to try and get up there. The difference in lines was absolutely crazy at this course. Like, it makes you realise how important it is just to find a line that's relatively dry. But he pulled away, and then it was just absolutely game over for me. I tried everything I could to just survive, to be honest. It was pure survival mode, slip and slide. I did manage to finish it off and absolutely give it everything I had on the day. I came away with 6th place, I think it was, so I can't be too disappointed. But hopefully next time I enter some gravel race, we get some nicer, more favourable conditions, and maybe even I'll find my legs, because to be honest, I thought I was going to die of cold. That is a terrible excuse. But thanks to the organisers for putting it on and getting it done in those conditions, because it was absolutely grim. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of race, gravel race that I attended. It wasn't my day, but still 6th place, and I'll catch you in the next video.